Okay, so this is one of the Nesta projects that Stephen was talking about, which was called Make It in Local Scotland, and there were several authorities involved. But if it doesn't click, I'll need to click. No, there you go. So this is Edinburgh Outdoors that we created. Now, the point I want to make about this was the first time we had shared data. We took data and used an API off from our council website and did this. We had to do some work on the data. So the team that was involved in this learned more about managing data and how they should use data in this project than they probably ever learned before. It was done on an agile basis. It was cross-disciplinary with different departments involved providing different skills. When we had 2 designers and a developer involved in it, and it was done in 6 months around everybody else's work. So it was pretty fast. Now, the thing was that was a completely new way of working, not only for the people in the project, but for myself. So what was interesting was it transformed the skills of everybody that was in the project. And for parks, it actually took them into a new area, which was digital. Moving on, we then moved into, I went open data, let's do open data. I was a web manager at the time, so I created a section on the council website and used a wee directory and used data that I had that was easily available. And at the same time started work on a strategy which was published in 2014. It was the first strategy in Scotland for open data. And that was basically giving us a mandate saying our data would be open. And it was really a statement of intent rather than actual delivery at that point. But it also gave us the mandate to develop our portal, the open data portal, which we did in 2 stages and which has got quite a number of data sets. We've now reached a stage, this is all learning, of we can't really sustain this manually. We need to move on to look at automation. We need to look at APIs, and that's what we're doing in that area. Engagement-wise, we created Edinburgh Apps, which was a civic challenge programme that was driven by open data. So basically, I worked with service areas, we had workshops, we developed challenges. All the challenges had to be supported by data. And we invited people to take part, and what we got were results. We had winning teams. It wasn't done in a weekend, it was done over 6 or 7 weeks. It was quite an interesting model. We had 3 events typically, and that worked really well because it gave people a chance to ask for more data, to work with the data, but also to work with the service areas to better understand the problems. We also did fun stuff like this, which were in between hacks, created things like, that's actually, you can't really see it, but it's a talking litter bin. Which we then took on and actually developed with a school as a prototype. And we also worked with a local coding club called Pre-Wired. So we were starting to reach out and make engagement part of our strategy and work with other people. This is the most recent event we had, and as you can see, the age range varies quite a lot. They're not massive. What we were doing wasn't massive. It was much more experimental on a small scale, looking at what would work and maybe what wouldn't work, so that we could learn from those experiences. And we also created a number of both products that went forward and were delivered, like Tend, and products that were really just prototypes, things that we were exploring, like Recycling Edinburgh, which was one data set to show what you could do with that, which is basically find all your recycling facilities. So that's the second lot of products that we had. Addiction Recovery Companion has been the most successful. It does include open data, and it's aimed at people in early recovery after a programme from drug and alcohol addiction. It's like a buddy app. And that was all done locally using co-production, co-design. And see, we're building on our skills all the time. We're looking at different skills. Going back to looking at partnerships, we've established Edinburgh Living Lab with University of Edinburgh. And again, that's about engagement out into different areas of the city, and we're building on that still just now. And actually, we've carried out small projects, mostly around mobility. But that's been very interesting because the council officers had never worked in that way before. The most recent one was about waste. Up in the corner, just for your information, one of the students volunteered a family, I don't think it was their family, to change their recycling approach for a month and put sensors in bins and so on, and tried it out and prototyped it. And they did that over an 8-week project. Working with the Living Lab, we did a walk hack in Sustrans, Scotland. So we have tried out many different kind of ideas and ways of working and projects and had quite good successes with some of them. So we've basically been working away at introducing these, if you like, new methods of working, new environments, trying to engineer, if you like, a culture change by nudging. This is the second Nesta programme. I'm just going to mention Edinburgh Collected because I think it's unique. It creates open data at source. So basically people add their own memories and their own metadata description to support it, and they're building a history of the city, but they're also building future history because what happened yesterday is history. So we have old images on, but we also have new. And we also include text memories. We haven't got audio yet, but you can put a text memory up. And what we've done is expanded the community in other areas in that way, working with local history groups and so on, and then looking at data literacy with them because they may have never done anything like this before. So that's a little bit more just description of it. You can see what it's. Please do have a go, have a look at it. It's an interesting project. Libraries have really embraced it as a way forward for their digital heritage collection. So just to move on from that, we are now looking at working with our new localities in the city and kind of building on all this knowledge and experience by actually creating workshops around learning about data for the multi-agencies in the localities, and then using data to actually drive decision making and actually look at implementation of the improvement plans which all authorities have to deliver. So I really would urge you to have a look at this because it is really unique, and it's had a really healthy return in Edinburgh, and we've had interest from other bodies as well, including the International Festival.
Just in case.
Oh right, thanks. That is an example of using our existing data to help with localities profiling. So this is the central library usage, and we were using it to help inform usage patterns and look at what we could do to improve services. And this is cycle sensors around the city. This is work done with the university, but it gave us insight we couldn't get any other way. And that has actually directly fed into route planning, looking at what we're going to develop in the way of new routes. So it's new for us. And as I was finishing off to say, basically we're looking in the next year to build on all of this with the localities. I have great hope that we'll be actually start building into the communities around the city the kind of skills that we've experienced in smaller projects before that. And at the same time, we are hopeful through the city deal, once it's agreed, that we'll be expanding our open data as well.
That's fantastic. Thank you very much.
So that was a bit of whistle stop.